heterogeneous crowd, which I like. And it's always a pleasure to come to Michigan to see my old friend Nabil. He was being, I think, a little bit diplomatic because he left out the thing that we most have in common and the topic that we most talk about. That is, we both have Jewish mothers, or in Nabil's case, a Semitic mother. And they're very similar, it seems, in more ways than one, unfortunately. That's unfair. The Jewish mothers and all the Semitic mothers, too. Well, it's a big crowd. If it weren't a big crowd, I couldn't blame it on the weather, because it's a beautiful day today. And it's changed my whole appreciation of this part of the United States, which I tend to recall as being very dreary and gray when I come. Today it's quite beautiful. I had an option of speaking on two very different topics this afternoon, and I was debating hard which topic I should look at. One would be to look at the most recent events, Gaza, the Freedom Flotilla, where we're heading, and the other option is to give an overview of the conflict, starting pretty much from the beginning, and trying to put the whole conflict in some context, because many people, they don't even know how Gaza became Gaza. Where did it come from? Why are people fighting over there? And after a lot of deliberation, actually up to this last second, I decided I'm going to do the large overview, because I do think a lot of people don't know the basic picture. And as I go along in the basic picture, I'm going to try hard to be fair, to give the best case, so to speak, for both sides, and then to allow you on your own, using your own judgment, your own reasoning faculty, to decide where does justice stand and where is injustice in this conflict. Now, I tried this once about a month ago, and it was a very curious reaction I got, not so much from the audience, but from the professor who allowed me to teach in her class. I tried, and you'll judge for yourself, to give a fair picture of both sides. And at the end, the professor came running up to the podium and saying, "Now you've heard one side, don't think one side is the only side." And I was kind of perplexed by that reaction, because I thought I had made a very strong case for the Israeli side. And I realized that even presenting the Palestinian side, even presenting it, is seen as one-sided, and it has to be somehow balanced. So you'll judge now for yourself, and I hope we'll leave at least 20 or 30 minutes where I can get to hear from you, because the last question I'll put, the one which I'll ask you to start thinking about as my remarks proceed, is where is the justice and how do you resolve the conflict? Where is the justice and how do you resolve the conflict? It's always hard to know where to begin a story, because where you begin a story is itself considered prejudiced and partisan. I'll try to begin where most histories of the modern conflict begin, and that's at the end of the 19th century. At the end of the 19th century in Europe, a problem arose, and it came to be called the Jewish question. The fact that it was called the Jewish question didn't have any necessarily negative meaning. There was at the time a woman question, a class question, and there was, in the United States, there was what was called a Negro question, and in Europe there was a Jewish question, meaning that the condition of Jews in Europe, it posed special problems that have to be looked at separately from problems in general. And the Jewish question, it consisted of two parts, or two sides, which almost were the opposite of each other. On the one side, the side most of you in this room will be familiar with, there was the problem of what was called anti-Semitism, namely the hostility, sometimes verging on, and in fact becoming violence against Jews, and the overall distaste, animus, sometimes hatred felt towards Jews in many parts of Europe. So that was the problem of anti-Semitism. But then there was a second problem, which was kind of the opposite of the first. There were some societies in Europe where Jews were being so welcomed that they were becoming like all other Europeans, and they began no longer to identify as Jews. And that was the problem, who knows the word, where you become so much a part of society that you lose your ethnic identity. What's the word we call it? Good. The word is, no, that's Mohammed Langston, right? Yes, Mohammed Langston, he said the word is assimilation. And some Jews fear that if Jews as a group, they become too European, and at some point they're going to say, what the heck, let's just go the whole distance and become Christian. And they just convert. And that means Jews as a group will disappear. And then along came this ideology, or a group of people,